Hello and welcome to another episode of 177 Nations of Tasmania, and today I'm focusing on the country of Pakistan and the Pakistani community in Tasmania, which has actually grown quite a bit in the last couple of years, and yet many Tasmanians will probably not have noticed this, unless of course they are involved in local cricket. And that's how I met my guest for today, Tabish Ahmed. Tabish has not been in Tasmania that long, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about some of his insights and observations of living in Tasmania and the differences he's noticed from living in Sydney, where he was formerly. And it has to be said that most Australians don't know a lot about Pakistan other than cricket, and most of the stories we hear tend to be negative ones. So I'm looking forward to getting a different side of Pakistan and sharing that with you. So welcome, Tabish. First of all, start with a simple question. When did you come to Tasmania, and what were the reasons for you coming here?
Basically, I come to Australia in 2009. I lived most of my life in Sydney, actually. I wanted to choose a regional place to come for a better lifestyle and for a better future of my kids. Eventually, I've chosen Tasmania, actually, because I knew there is a lot of things, even in Pakistan as well, we haven't heard about Tasmania, actually. But when I come to Sydney, I live in mainland. I live in a place, actually, where people are brushing shoulders. So I wanted to live in a place for a better lifestyle of my kids, where a better future of them. And especially, the one thing I like about Tasmania mostly is that actually that you are living in the hills or by the water, or where you are living in the hills actually with a view of water. So basically this thing actually has intimated me actually more and more to live in Tasmania.
Okay. Yeah, and you mentioned your family, who we can hear a little bit in the background. Tell us a little bit about your family. Who are the members of your family who are here with you?
Mark, I've got two kids. One, she's 8 years old, and the little one, she is 5 years old. We are living in Glenorchy, which is a bit more cosmopolitan, compared to other parts of Tasmania.
Yeah. So you said you first came to Australia and you settled in Sydney in 2009. What was your first sort of experiences of Sydney like?
Obviously, Mark, if I tell you the background, actually, when I've completed my education, I had got a few choices to go to abroad, actually. I don't know, I have always, in a bit of a fear with Australia. Although my parents and my brother, they wanted me to go to UK, actually, because there are a lot of Pakistanis over there at the time when I came in here. But I always, I don't know, maybe a bit of a fiction, actually, with the cricket as well, because I always like Australian team. Yeah. And, cricket is in our blood, so I wanted to come to Australia, and I think so I made a right decision. When I came to Sydney, it was a bit of recession as well. Actually, there was a time actually in 2009 and 10. It was pretty hard for us, especially for the migrants, to get a job. Luckily, I found some right people to giving me a right pathway. But then actually, the chances of being Australian citizen was shrinking in Sydney. Okay. So I had to make a decision actually where I can see myself actually in a timeline actually I can be Australian citizen. So I've chosen to come in here. There was few hardships, I would say, actually initially when I came to Tasmania, as there was even 1.5 years before as well. There was not a lot of people of our community actually wasn't here, but now I can see actually there's a lot of people coming in here. There is a lot of opportunities for us actually to be a part of this beautiful Tasmanian community.
Okay, you came to Tasmania a year and a half ago. What were your first impressions of Tasmania first?
It was especially when you're coming from a place actually where a lot of people, a lot of, hustling and bustling in cities, actually, you are smacking down cities and stuff actually. But when you come to Tasmania, straight away you see the patience in the life, actually, the calmness of the life, where you won't see anywhere else in the world, I believe. I mean, everywhere else things been changing up actually, but this is the only place I would say, Mark, actually, it's the only region I would say, which is is the natural beauty is entirely the same. Actually, there's no change in thing actually. But it was very quiet, very very quiet for us actually to come in here. Once again, actually, it was a big decision for me to make actually, but I think it was the right decision. In Sydney, actually, we are living mostly in the parts. We've been sent to the part actually where basically our communities are more and more actually. When you come to Tasmania, you won't see any sort of communities being inflicted in one place or something. You will see people, your next door neighbors and stuff, like everywhere people are merging in. Actually, you're living basically in a society where everyone is same, which is wonderful thing which you won't see anywhere else in anywhere. Even Sydney as well, you will see actually the mostly rich people, they're living in North Sydney or something. But here actually people are living like it's basically a dream come true, you say, Mark, because you won't see any sort of difference in the class. Actually, people are entirely the same. I mean, the lifestyle is very very simple. If you compare to Sydney, there's not a lot of show off in the community actually.
But you mentioned, of course, that there weren't a lot of there wasn't a big Pakistani community here when you arrived. So how did you get to know locals?
Mark, the one thing which get us together, especially is a cricket. I would say actually when I first came in here, my friend of mine actually, as he has introduced me to one of the local cricket club actually. I went down there actually, and even before that as well actually, we have. I was a part of many clubs actually, but when I came in here, I get to know a lot of Australians actually. Mm-hmm. We played together, and that was the first thing actually for me to get an impression, to get to know a lot of Tasmanians actually, that they are so humble. Mm-hmm. Like they are very simple in their attitude actually. Like there's one thing I would really say actually, that they treat migrants very in a good way actually. Although there was not a lot of migrants before, in the recent time actually, only about 3-4 years ago when a lot of migrants coming in here, but before that actually, but they have welcomed us very well, Mark. I mean, I haven't seen anything which I would say actually that I've been part of any sort of bad experience living in 1.5 years actually. Yes, there is. So sorry, I would have to mention that actually there is a bit of hard time for me actually in the job sector. Okay. I had some issues actually in finding a job actually. I was lucky that I've got my own business, but I was all winded up this COVID-19 or something. But yeah, since then actually I'm finding it a bit hard at least to get a job in here, but fingers crossed things will be better.
And what was your business here?
I had in housekeeping, sort of hospitality kind of work actually. Oh, okay. But as you know, actually,
very tough
it
area
is,
at the moment.
It's very challenging for all of us actually, but I hope everything will be better very soon. Right.
Yeah, well, we'll see, I guess.
At least we are living in a place where there's very controlled sort of situation actually, compared to the next door actually in Melbourne. They have been struggling, but we are very, very lucky. I
think we're at this time we're probably in one of the best places.
Oh, it is. It is not all about that actually.
You mentioned that you've been well received. But did your the people you played, the locals you played cricket with, did they know anything or much about Pakistan?
Mark, there was one thing I would say. The only cricket was the thing actually they knew about Wasim Akram, Imran Khan actually. Other than that, there was a bit of I would say there was a bit of bad image about Pakistan actually, considering we faced actually in Pakistan in recent time. Pakistan was the only country was considered as a lot of terrorism activities back then happened there actually. We have faced a lot of trouble back in there actually, and on the top of that actually there was a bit of corruption and all sort of thing added up. But to be very honest, I would say actually that being a part of Pakistan, or I'm a citizen of Pakistan, I would say that Pakistan is it's entirely different what you see on the news actually. There is definitely places in Pakistan where there's a bit of issues of terrorism and stuff actually, but we're lucky we are on the right path actually. Imran Khan is treating the things pretty well, and there is some controlled situation over there. But yeah, eventually there was a bit of all sort of bomb blast and a lot of terrorism activities have been happening there actually.
Yep. So did your teammates or the people you play cricket with, were they curious about Pakistan? Did they ask you
they've asked me some good things, Mark. They have definitely asked me what is the best food up there, what is basically how it looks like and stuff actually. The only thing I would say to them, and I've said to them eventually, you guys won't be able to handle the food actually. We put a lot of spices in the food eventually. But yeah, Tasmanians actually, you can see there's a lot of Indian cuisines in here. There's some Pakistani, restaurants as well in here as well. Actually, they get to know a lot of things, which was never told about Pakistan. We are here actually. That's all you have to say about your country, where you come from actually. That and Mark, one more thing I will say today actually, that the place I come from, Pakistan, actually is very similar to Tasmania. It's there's a lot of natural beauties in there actually, from Islamabad especially. It's so beautiful. I mean, neat and clean, and it's beautiful.
So where were you born in Pakistan? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Islamabad,
the capital of Pakistan.
The capital of Pakistan actually. And then I spent most of my life over there.
And so what was life like growing up in Islamabad? What was your family like?
Mark, I belong to a middle class family actually. My father, he was a government servant. He spent whole of his life actually working in the government sector. He taught us all the norms to grow up actually, especially living in a middle class family. Actually, you got to know that actually you have got a certain sort of space to work all around you. And then actually I wanted to have a good future, a good dream actually, that that I will go abroad and work hard actually to live my dreams.
Yeah. So when you were young, what was your dream?
But for me actually, I wanted to have a bit more better lifestyle than living in Pakistan actually, and I've chosen, I said to you before that I've selected Australia for that, and I wanted to have a bit more things in the life actually which I've been deprived of in Pakistan, like whatever you want, because especially in Australia actually you will see actually that you work hard and you get it. But in Pakistan, actually, it's a bit different. Actually, you work hard. Actually, you may or may not be able to get it. Actually, because there's a lot of competition back in Pakistan.
So the main thing that stops you from achieving it is just the competition.
Competition, and also I would say actually that you are lucky enough to get the things you wanted actually, because if and only actually that you belong to a rich family and you get it everything with a golden spoon actually. Otherwise, you have to work extremely hard actually, and you have to be lucky enough to get your dream through.
Yeah. So is there a bit of a kind of class system?
There's definitely a class system in Pakistan. The people actually who are rich, or they're getting more and more rich actually, the people in the middle class, they are trying to get actually to be stable condition actually, and people who are poor actually, especially with this whole COVID-19 actually, the poor people they want be able to work freely.
Yeah.
So we can see every day in the news actually that the poor people are getting more and more poor actually, because they are a daily wage worker actually.
Yeah.
And definitely things have been tough and tougher actually.
And I guess they don't get the sort of social welfare support that they would
Nothing
get
at all,
here.
Mark, nothing at all.
Yeah.
No, there's no government support. The government has started few sort of thing actually. They have opened a few gateway actually for the poor people actually, but that's not enough. That's not ample for you to actually survive.
Yeah.
I would say, yep. This COVID-19 actually has made things tougher and tougher nowadays, especially for this progressing countries actually, especially in Pakistan as well. But once again, we are hoping for the best, Mark.
Yeah, sure. And so, did you go to? You obviously went to school in Pakistan. Did you do further studies also?
Yeah, Mark, I've completed my bachelor's in agriculture in Pakistan. Then soon after, actually, I have traveled to Australia for further more education stuff, actually. Then I have done a lot of diplomas and stuff in Sydney. And then eventually, I come here in Tasmania, actually, to get a regional sponsorship skill visa or something. So I'm here with you.
What was your plan with your study originally? What did you want to do?
Because, Mark, I belong to agriculture background in my family as well. So, and also, I wanted to work around actually in the rural areas actually. That's my more intention actually, because I wanted to work around the farmers and stuff actually. That's basically it's me, which is not a typical Pakistani's a growing up child actually has their intentions in mind actually. But I always wanted to see actually that how these farmers work actually, and how there's a lot of production happen basically in that part of the country. And that's what has made me more and more inclined toward Tasmania as well, because there is a lot of farm work in here.
Yeah.
And once I've got a bit more space actually, I would definitely put my some more effort to work in a farm or something actually in the future.
So have you been able to be on any farms here in Tasmania?
I've been there in a lot of places in farm areas actually, but I haven't got a chance to work around them actually so far.
Okay. Well, hopefully someone with a farm listens to this podcast.
I hope so actually. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I love cricket. I've been playing a tape ball cricket in Pakistan, but I started playing with a leather ball actually when I came to know actually my friend. They're living in Sydney in 2014 and 15. But now you have seen me actually that I was a top scorer in the Centians last season. So I love cricket actually. This is one thing which I would never compromise actually.
You obviously played cricket in Pakistan. What sort of level did you play?
Mark, I was playing for my own region actually, where I come from actually, but only with a tennis ball actually. We never played in hardball back in there. You don't need a space to play cricket in Pakistan. You just see the people. You just need a friend actually to get a bat and ball, and you can start playing in your room actually. You never need to. So they just there's basically cricket back in Pakistan. It's we consider it more than a cricket, than a fun side for a get together for the friends actually. If you're going out in the park actually, you will definitely carry a bat and ball with you. This is one thing actually, they love it, and this is a source of happiness as well in the country.
Yeah, so it's more than just a sport. It's also kind of a important social activity.
True.
Yep. Well, that's something that Australia and Pakistan have in common. Because I remember sort of something similar when I was a kid. You'd always have bat and ball whenever you're going out somewhere and play in the backyard. It's just the kind of places that we played where it would have been quite different.
Yeah. Initially, as a fresh candidate, actually, when I finished my education, Mark, in there, actually, I've applied a few jobs, but it's always hard, actually, when you're a fresh candidate to get a job in Pakistan, especially in here as well. Don't get me wrong, actually, you don't get the desired sort of thing actually straight away. But then, I always focused to come abroad. Even my family, they always, wanted me to focus more and more actually to get what I wanted actually to come in here. They have never pushed me actually to go for a job. So I've, prepared myself for the English classes and stuff after I complete my education. And then, obviously, my first intention to come to Australia. Lifestyle is quite simple in here actually. You do your work actually, and there's there is a lot of social activity that I can see actually. But if you still compare to other things actually, there's very confined sort of thing, beautiful lifestyle. Simple. And eventually, me and my wife always say that actually you will see a lot of old people in here in Tasmania actually, because there is lifespan, I would say actually that you will see a lot of people over 80s and stuff actually, but in Pakistan the age factor, the most age actually you will see is 60s and 70s actually, which has more and more give you an idea living in a place actually where you can see actually the good lifestyle, healthy lifestyle actually. You do your job and live beautiful. There's not a lot of options. You will go and eat outside actually. Otherwise in Sydney actually you just go next door, you will see restaurants everywhere. Then pushes you more and more to eat outside. So in here actually you eat at home beautiful. You eat healthy. Mark, when I was coming in here, it was a bit hard, especially, when you live in certain place for about 8-9 years, actually. In Sydney, you was very stable. Things was going smoothly, actually. And then you have realized, actually, that you have to choose a place to become a national. Then, obviously it was a bit hard for me initially to come in here. And then, I was pretty stable in Sydney. My business was going pretty good actually. But then I had to choose somewhere because it's better for my kids' future actually to become a national. There's, obviously we all come here actually for a good good future or something. So it was a bit hard. Every now and then I had to go back to Sydney actually to look after my business, but then eventually I have realized actually it's better to do something in Tasmania actually. So I start putting some tenders on for my business. Haven't been successful so far, but you definitely I'm hoping that things will be more and more easier for all of us here. I think if you're living in Hobart, actually, you will see a lot of opportunities for people to stable themselves. Actually, so I think so. They choose to come. If you compare to any other regions, regional Australias and stuff, actually, you will see that Tasmania is far more better about the weather, about the lifestyle. Actually, it's far more better than any other region in Australia.
Yeah, and we have Hobart's a capital city, not just a regional city like some of the other places you could go to. Okay, and what about your family here in Hobart? How well have they adapted well?
They did actually, which I was not initially was thinking that me because my wife and my kids actually they will struggle. I was thinking because my kids they go to school actually. When you go to school in a young age actually you got to make a lot of friends. My kid. My older girl actually when she came here actually she was a little bit upset actually that she has to make a new friend or something. It was hard for me as well actually, but now actually she's pretty happy. And I tell you a very good thing, Mark, you will be amazed as well actually. My little daughter, she was crying last night. And every now and then, because we say actually that we talk a lot about Sydney or something, see some news, and we talk some friend back in Sydney. So she was crying last night. She said, maybe you guys thinking to go back to Sydney. I'm not going to leave my school. So that was quite, for us as well. Actually, we was pretty happy to see that she is very, very much, attached to her friends in a school, and she's pretty happy. My girls are pretty happy. This is the main thing for me, actually, that they are very happy in the school. They have made new friends in here. Yeah. My wife, she's made a very good sort of social circle in here as well. So things are beautiful so far.
Yeah.
And, I've got no complaints whatsoever.
Were you married before you came to Australia? Did you meet your wife before then?
No, Mark. I got married after I spent 1.5 years in Australia. Then I went back to Pakistan and got married, and I bring my wife in here.
Okay. And so how did you know your wife originally?
My parents have chosen a wife for me. We knew each other as a family. Yep. So they have selected me, actually, selected my wife for me. So I was happy because I've seen her before. So I was happy that they're making a right decision for me.
Because that's fairly normal, isn't it?
In Pakistan, eventually, we have basically arranged marriages are quite more common in Pakistan. So that's what I followed more.
I once knew this Indian guy from Mumbai, and he'd lived in Australia a while, but he said his parents in India were going to choose him a wife, and I asked him, but what did they choose? Someone bad who don't like? He said, my parents wouldn't do that to me. So is that what it's like? You just trust the parents?
Exactly. I think so. You have to rely this thing on your parents, actually, because if you choose someone for you, actually, if your parents don't like it, so eventually you're the one who's coping a lot of things. So you better leave this decision to the parents, actually. And hopefully, I've seen some bad decisions as well, to be very honest. Don't get me wrong, actually, but mostly what parents decide for you, actually, they ask you first. They're not going to pushing you to make this or imposing a decision on you, actually, but obviously it's your right as well, actually, to say yes or no, but I think so. They have shown me some pictures and stuff, actually, and I met her before, as I said to you, actually, not very closely, actually, but yeah. And I think so. I'm pretty happy so far, so good. Actually, they made the right decision for me. Actually, I have no complaints. She left her family for me as well, so I appreciate as well every now and then. Actually, that she's supporting me some bad time. She was with me actually when I had some good time as well, actually. So that's what a partner is, actually. As long as you both help each other in a good and bad time, actually. So if you want a better lifestyle, if you want a healthy lifestyle, actually, please, guys, choose Tasmania. You will definitely not be making the same amount of money, actually. But once you complete your education, once you have got better degree on your hand, actually, just concentrate on your education first. Once you do it, actually, and if you can cope the weather as well, because weather is a bit hard and especially winter is very hard in Tasmania, but once you do it, actually, all these things, you are in the right pathway, I believe. It's better not for you, actually, for your family as well, for your kids, and for your own healthy lifestyle. I tell you a very interesting thing, actually. There was an old lady, actually. She was putting the bins outside for me. Mm-hmm. I was very amused. I said, because I wanted to help her. She was by her own. I've seen her. She was putting the bin. I said to her, because I was not very sure what was the bin day or something, because when you came, because in Sydney there was a bit different thing. In here, actually, it was different. So she said to me, actually, if you forget, that's okay. I will put the bins out for you. And that has made my day, actually, that, she was an old lady, about 90 plus or something, and she was helping me for that. And, this thing, actually, these little bits and pieces, actually, and as you will see in Sydney, everyone is busy. Everyone is, is running after the time, actually. Time is running out in Sydney. But in here, actually, life is, very smooth, actually. Life is very, very simple in here. You have got a lot of things to think about. You have got a lot of ideas you can think. So I will say people, the newcomers, they are coming to Tasmania. They have got, they will see a lot of opportunities for for business and stuff as well, actually. And once this COVID-19 will get averaged, you will see that Tasmania will be the best place to live in the future.
You should be doing advertisements for Tasmania, I think.
It is.
But so you've actually got to know your neighbours a bit?
Yeah, I did actually. They, every now and then actually, whenever I pass through, I will say them hello. And my next door actually lady, she is about 90 plus. I said, she is a heart patient, so I help her around actually. Sometimes she needs any sort of help actually, so I make sure I give her my number as well. Actually, if she need any sort of help, during the a day or night, actually she can call me. So me and my wife, every now and then actually we go and see our neighbors, say them hello. We have got a cup of coffee every now and then as well with them. So you won't see this sort of thing in Sydney. I will tell you, actually, Sydney is very busy.
Interesting. That's just reminded me of another thing I wanted to ask you about Pakistani culture, actually, because I get the impression that social interaction and that kind of thing is quite important part of Pakistani culture.
It is, Mark. And this is one thing I find in here, that in here actually we'll see a lot of friends hanging out with each other. Actually, you will see a lot of families see each other every now and then. In here actually you will see, when you go out actually you will see, this is what has made you aware that this is basically a more of a Pakistani culture in Tasmania. Honestly, Mark, you will see that actually that people in Pakistan, you must have seen a lot of videos and stuff as well actually, that Pakistani people, we are very social.
Yeah.
We want to meet actually, we want to hang out with friends, even if you're busy. We find a small sort of excuse to meet actually in Pakistan. So this is what we see in Tasmania.